So we're going to now look down here at the Pane View and all the different tools that are encapsulated in the Pane View. We're going to resize this a little bit. The program I'm using to capture the video here only allows me a certain size for capture for YouTube and whatnot. So I have to use as little real estate as possible. First thing we're going to look at is the edit window. Okay, again, whenever you click on a cue here, the data for that cue gets filled into all these attributes. So we've got our character, our version, our prefix, our line number, our designator, our time in, our time out, our scene, our reason, our note, our actual cue, attributes, the day we shot it, and take information, you know, if we've actually shot some takes. So we like the first one, take, and then we like the alt. The second one is an alt. If you click on print view gives you an example of what your material will look like whenever you print it out. And you can use this ideally in conjunction with the mini editor, which will float on the top. And so as you make changes, it will be reflected in your print view. Okay. This is just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Now, just as an aside, whenever you're typing information here, if you type a ton of information here, the program will actually resize the text box to fit as much dialogue as you want to put in there. That's a change I made from the last version. So if you have a long monologue of dialogue that you want to put in one cue, you can do that. Here's the characters box. There's 4 pieces of information that we're interested in. We've got our character Curly. You can you can, just like in this box here, you can drag and drop data. So if there's a couple of characters that you use more than most when you're queuing, you know, you can put them in here in an order that, so when you're queuing it, it's the easiest for you to get to them. So if you come here to characters here, you'll see prosecutor, you see Curly, Polly the bird. The order of these cues here will match the order that you have in your character box. Okay, so we have our character name, and if you ever want to change your character name, I found out that Polly the bird is actually one L. Polly the bird. It will change Polly's name throughout the program. Right, that was actually the director called me back, and it's actually Polly with 2 L's. So we'll change that back. You can also undo these things and redo them. You can put a prefix in there so that when you actually print out your cues, Polly's name will be prepended to the line number. If you have a TV prefix, let's say you want to quickly be able to just have a different prefix for TV lines than you do for main principal lines, you can type in something here and it will be reflected. So if we come to Curly, and let's say Curly's line is TV, and we come to print view, Curly shows up, instead of CR, it shows up with CRX. Okay? So this is our characters view. You can enter the data in here if you wish, or here. It's whatever's easiest for you. If you want to add a character, you just hit the plus key. We'll undo that. Or if you want to delete a character, you just hit the delete key. When you delete, it's going to say, look, you can either cancel, delete the cues where the data appears, or keep the cues and clear the data. Well, I don't know. You know, these are just options, if whatever you want. But typically, if you're going to delete a character, I figure you're going to delete all their lines. So these are just options I've left in, though. So for right now, we're just going to hit cancel. We're not going to delete Mo. We'll come here to versions. Mo is the last surviving stooge, so Mo never gets deleted. In our versions window here, we have the ability to add new versions. So let's say we're working on a film, and let's say we're working on a movie, Reel 3, V101. And this is Reel 3, version 101. When I type in, my program is going to do the best it can to guess what the hour is of the reel you're working in. So typically if you just type in the reel number in the version, the program will guess immediately. And in this case, it rightly guessed that it's Reel 3, every cue exists on a 24-hour clock, so that's why we like to have hours. So if you're putting in data in feet and frames, it helps for the program to know where that time is on the 24-hour clock. So reel 3 is at hour 3. And the program here does something. It sets aside a bank of numbers, 1,000 numbers to be precise. And these are for the auto numbering. Okay? So let's say, like, you have another reel 3, version 201, okay, that you get in February, and a version reel 3, version 301 that you get in March, okay? They all share the same bank of numbers. So let's say, like, you're queuing in reel 3, okay? Anytime you auto number, it's going to look across all these queues and see which numbers have been used, okay? And it will give you the next available number, all right? So, if you have any questions about this, call me about this, because I know some people like to use, a set of numbers for their temp that are maybe different, or a set of group numbers that are different from their final number, from their principal numbers. But again, whatever you do, you can set aside a bank of number here. You can type in reel 1, T1, and you can give it, you can set aside as few numbers as you want, The important thing, though, is that whenever you create a set of numbers, they should always overlap like this, okay, from start to finish. That way the program can accurately guess which numbers you wish to use. So if you wanted reel 1, temp 2, if you wanted reel 1, temp 2, just to use 200 to 299, you could do that too, But it's ultimately, you have to figure out how many queues you think you're going to have in a temp or whatnot. This could also be 1100 to 1199. This could be 1200 to 1299. So again, there's a lot of versatility. There's a lot of in the program. I want to show you right now the remainder of the version information here. This again is just mirrors the data that you see. These fields here mirror the data that you see here. There's other fields though. There's frame rate. Okay. Now, when you're queuing and you're queuing in feet and frames, this is not really going to matter. If you're queuing in time code, then this must match either the window burn on your picture, or it must match the frame rate of your Pro Tools. Okay, because you don't ever want to capture. You don't want to ever capture 2398 values in a Pro Tools session and put them in a time base of 2997, because your numbers will just get way out. The drop frame here will work shortly. Drop frame is probably the most incredibly difficult thing to figure out, but this will be working shortly. Your frame rate, but it automatically defaults to 2997. I'll add in a parameter so that this will default to whatever value you choose.